What's going on, everyone? Badger here. Make sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. Uh, it's definitely Gamergate 2.0. It's definitely that. No more question marks on the end of that. And it's involving some of the same people. And the tactics used are almost beat for beat the same. The first of which we covered was the mainstream media attacking all gamers, calling us racist and homo, all the fun ists and isms they do. And of course, we're all alt-right all of a sudden, no matter who you voted for. If you don't like Sweet Baby Inc., you're alt-right. I hate to tell you, or I love to tell you, welcome. What either way, that's what it is. Remember, this all started when a simple Brazilian named Cabrutus started a Steam curation list, just listing the games that Sweet Baby Inc. had involvement in. And of course, as we've all said, you would think Sweet Baby Inc. would be thanking them for the free service and advertisement, because obviously they should be proud of what they did, except they know they've mucked it up, and they've mucked it up a lot. And we called them out on it. And the simple act of us calling them out on it and saying that we don't like what they do has led to, as we covered in a video this morning, a vast misinformation campaign backed up by complicit devs at multiple studios. And forget any little bits of nuance, which we really tried. All of their current comments are completely inconsistent with the previous comments that, thank the internet gods, have been saved in internet archives and videos. And yeah, these are despicable, horrible people. They are actually the real racists. And here we have in yet another, and this isn't part of the misinformation campaign, but this is certainly part of the legacy media defense of all these DEI inclusions, because they know what's up. They know that video games are one more avenue they have yet to conquer, although they're making inwards. Just they did it a little too quickly. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League woke up a lot of gamers to what's going on. And here we have, 2 minutes in, of course, just had to explain all that. A U.S. government-funded nonprofit, Take This, responds to Sweet Baby Inc. backlash by calling on video game industry to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate, and they are referring to this 2.0 Gamergate. So who had a U.S. government-funded nonprofit enters the fray around Sweet Baby Inc. on their bingo cards? Certainly not me. In response to the recent discourse surrounding the work of the aforementioned narrative consultation company, the mental health in video games centric nonprofit organization Take This has called on both players and the industry at large to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate. A 501c, and he's explaining, nonprofit founded in 2014, Take This describes itself as a mental health organization providing comprehensive resources, support, and consultation tailored for the unique needs of the game development community. Yeah, very unique. Crunch time. Really, I'm sure it takes therapy even more than that of a soldier or a police officer or a firefighter. Insane. Far from a minor entity within the industry, a number of noted figures are counted among the company's governing board and officers, including Bethesda Marketing VP Pete Hines, Ubisoft VP of Global Diversity and Inclusion. How is that a job? How is that just a entire group of grifters that have gotten work? VP of Global Diversity and Inclusion, Rashi Sika, and PlayStation's head of Global Portfolio and Acquisitions, Chris Svensson. Boy. Here's the official logo, of course, a sword over a shield. Sure. In terms of its ties to the U.S. government, per a public disclaimer on their various white papers, racist, their work is funded as part of an official Department of Homeland Security research project known as Disrupting Video Games-Based Radicalization through Collaborative Cross-Sector Networks. Holy S. So the Department of Homeland Security is funding a research project because they don't want video games to radicalize us. Well, I hope you're paying attention to Helldivers, because we've certainly been radicalized against anything that's not up for freedom and democracy. And the bugs, the Terminids, and the automatons, well, they must be stopped. So certainly been radicalized. I guess this it has some validity rather. This joint project from the Center on Terrorism, Extremism, and These fucking video games we're talking about. Okay, there we go. Just let you know. This joint project from the Center on Terrorism, Extremism, and Counterterrorism, Take This, and anti-disinformation AI developer logically seeks to develop a shared framework for understanding extremism in games. Oh my God, I hear it now. Reads the project's official proposal abstract as seen on its official. It's just when you extremism in games. So 90% of players, we're all extreme about something. Holy shit, have you seen some of the Sims players? That's some extremism. You want to talk about extreme? The Warhammer players? Extremism. It's ridiculous. This includes the development of a set of best practices and centralized resources for monitoring and evaluation of extremist activities, as well as a series of training workshops. You mean a re-education programs? For the monitoring, detection, training workshops for the monitoring, detection, and prevention of extremist exploitation in gaming spaces for community managers, multiplayer designers, lore developers, mechanic designers, and trust and safety professionals. Ooh, this screams like Big Brother shit. In addition, this project will provide a first-of-its-kind collaborative structure for public-private partnerships on preventing and mitigating games-based extremism. Because, of course, all the extremism it's all for video games, clearly. It's not from any other ideology. Taken together, this project will simultaneously improve counter-extremism collaboration in the video game industry, Jesus, while also providing substantial capacity building with it. I would say, how do they get fucking jobs and funded? But we find out the government gives them this money. Running to defend Sweet Baby Inc. amidst the ongoing sunlight being shown on their operations. Take This published a blog post on March 11. Yeah, this dropped at like midnight my time last night, so we're only getting to it now. If you're reading this, you've probably been hearing about what's now being called Gamergate 2. It's the latest targeted harassment campaign within the game industry, and it's aimed at Sweet Baby Inc. Again, none of this happened before Cabrutus made that list, the curator list, and then employees, Chris Kindred and others in Sweet Baby Inc. targeted him, tried to get him canceled, tried to get him doxxed, this again is a complete accuse your enemy of what you yourself are guilty of. Yeah, straight out of The Art of War, Sun Tzu, and out of the modern Marxist playbook. It's the latest targeted harassment campaign. This is again Take-Two's blog post. It's the latest targeted harassment campaign within the game industry, and it's aimed at Sweet Baby Inc., a Montreal-based narrative development studio, said the company. Campaign also has been impacting entities and games associated with Sweet Baby, journalists covering the issue, and others associated in various ways with the targets. You also may be at a loss to know how to talk about this issue and what, if anything, you can do about it. That's where we come in. To tell you what to say, think, feel, and what the appropriate narrative is. In service of providing such guidance, the nonprofit then declared Discord, Steam, and X have been the predominant platforms where the abuse and harassment has been taking place. Because simply saying what they do is abuse and harassment to these people. In these spaces, lists of game studios, companies, and associated organizations are being circulated by targeting members of the mob. Yeah, you see the pitchforks back there. I got some vegetables, some rotten vegetables to throw coming. That'll be fun. It's all mob prerequisites. They histrionically informed their readers large-scale harassment campaigns like this fuel and are fueled by political events. No, they're fueled by the dumb shit you keep doing. And the dumb shit you keep doing is fueled by political events. Thus, because it's such a long time in production, most of this dumb ideology was made when it was super popular, i.e. BLM, George Floyd death riot moments led to a lot of race swapping. A lot of these DEI things, they're not popular anymore, and it's going to take a long time for them to catch up. So they're going to keep happening. And they can't admit they're wrong because then they would be admitting we were right. And so, of course, they double down and they have to attack us and isolate us. It's not working, by the way. Thanks, Elon, for buying Twitter. It's led to, regardless of what you think about Elon, it has led to a much fairer playing field, battlefield, whatever you want on the socials. Anyway, so again, this is their cope. Large-scale harassment campaigns like this fuel and are fueled by political events as political rhetoric heats up ahead of the U.S. presidential election later this year. This kind of online activity is going to ramp up. Oh, well, they're right about that. But not the way you think. And it's important to understand that these phenomena are interrelated. Yeah. Again, right about that, but not the way they're meaning it. To this end, Take This proceeded to offer the industry advice as to things we can do to mitigate the harm of the harassment campaign. Our successful campaign of awareness to let people know that Sweet Baby Inc. being involved with the game is likely a sign of shenanigans. A high degree that shenanigans have been afoot. In terms of individual action, the company suggested it's extremely important to speak out and step up for folks who are being harmed. Yes, speak out and step up so we can fucking at you in the comments too. This kind of, with respect, of course, this kind of support can take on many different forms. This could be an email or a quick check-in with the people in your orbit who are targets of the harassment or are close to those targets, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, turning to address industry leaders, Take This warned, you may be inclined to be quiet or cautious, but that's actually not helpful. By the time many studios were hesitant to address the hate and abuse from Gamergate in any meaningful, and by the way, real quickly, the original Gamergate was someone by the name of Zoe Quinn lied about someone and caused someone to Minecraft themselves, to self-delete themselves, to end themselves. And then when the gaming community correctly called this out, we were, and then insert everything that's happened right now, called racist, sexist, toxic, homophobic. We kept women out of gaming for years, blah, 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 blah. All these lies and everything to obfuscate the original point of contention. And in this case, it's simply calling out what Sweet Baby Inc. has done. And of course, look at the hate mob that's come after us. Of course, we're very used to it by now. Been calling ism since we didn't like Rey in The Last Skywalker or Captain Marvel. At the time, many studios were hesitant to address the hate and abuse from Gamergate in any meaningful way. They argued the reasons varied, but usually this hesitation was born out of fear of losing profits, or which you're doing anyway, losing profits or concern that taking a stance would attract the attention of the Gamergate mob. However, the failure to take a stand and clearly communicate with the community backfired. The company continued. In other words, failure to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate and harassment and abuse done in its name created a space for that hate and abuse to flourish, spread, and become normalized. Drawing their warning to a close, Take This ultimately declared hate, harassment, and toxic behavior have no place in games. I agree, which is why I think you and all your associated companies need to get the fuck out of it. By taking direct, targeted action in a timely manner, we can mitigate further harm to talented, dedicated folks in the games. Don't know who they're talking about, but it's certainly not anyone at these consultation companies, and help prevent additional recurrences of these harmful events. Yeah, you won't stop us. Should be noted that despite the current popular narrative framing the backlash to Sweet Baby Inc. as a large-scale harassment campaign, this could not be more disingenuous read of the situation. At present, the so-called harassment leveled against them amounts to nothing more than Steam curation list made to track their publicly credited works, a Discord server related to the list's administration, and a generally negative sentiment towards their operations brewing amongst players of all stripes. Meanwhile, the only person to have called for any direct action against any individual, or entity was Sweet Baby Inc.'s own Chris Kindred, who in response to the creation of said Steam creator list, which I would add is now approaching 270,000 members, and started out it was under 20, I believe, anyway, asked his followers and supporters to try and get both it and its Chris is a woman, by the way. Chris Kindred is a woman. I don't know why Spencer keeps misgendering her. It's a chick. Its creator's Steam account shut down by way of a mass false reporting campaign. Yeah. So again, the only harassment and toxicity and all of this has come from Sweet Baby Inc. and their employees. All we've done is point out what they themselves have bragged, and there's a lot of that going around. We played videos. There's plenty of channels making. Hypnotic's been covering it extensively. Nerd Wars has been covering it. We've all been covering it, but here we go. Take This has added, funded by the government. Take that for what you will. Yeah, it's not going away. We're not going away. You can't get rid of us. You can't just barrel through. You can't survive till 25 like MCU and all the other ones are doing. You can't tank losses the way the movie industry can. You cannot. How many more almost 10,000 video game employees in total, if you add in everything, have been fired in the last year, this year, and at the end of the last year because of these losses? You cannot sustain it any longer. good luck. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you've done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well, bye.